Hello everyone, this is Mr. Lawback. I hope you're having a terrific day. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the key terms for Congress. Now, many of these terms we have already gone over. I recommend that you check out some of my other videos on Congress on YouTube for some additional terms. First, bicameral. As you know, our legislative branch is made up of two chambers, the House and the Senate. Therefore, we have a bicameral legislature. Congress has terms and sessions. A term of Congress is 2 years. Now, individual members of Congress have terms as well. A House member's term is 2 years, so every one of the 435 members is up for re-election every 2 years, and senators have 6-year terms. A session of Congress. A session is a 1-year period that Congress meets. The end of the session is when Congress adjourns for the year. Then Congress is in recess. A session typically ends in late fall or early winter, and then Congress is on their winter recess. A special session is when Congress is called back from recess to deal with a situation. Only the President of the United States has the power to call a special session. Special sessions are not used that much anymore. It used to be that Congress would spend 6 months in session in Washington and then 6 months at home. Nowadays, Congress spends pretty much all year round in session with sporadic recesses throughout. Representation in the House is according to population. The following terms here are related to that representation. The US Census, or a head count, is taken every 10 years, where they count the United States population. This is used for many reasons, but a big reason is for reapportionment of the 435 seats. Meaning they divide the seats up according to population. So each state gets a number of seats according to their population. As an example, Pennsylvania has 18 seats allotted to it. Once the state is assigned a number of seats for the House, it is up to that state's legislature to draw out the district boundaries. Gerrymandering is the unfair drawing of district lines, giving a political party an advantage over another. Now, the Senate, the other chamber, the Senate is a continuous body. That means that only a third of the 100 Senate members are up for re-election every 2 years. The framers wanted the Senate to be more of a stable body and not have as much changeover in their membership, unlike the House, which the entire body is up for re-election every 2 years, although most House members win re-election. A bill, of course, is a suggested law that is submitted to Congress. Floor consideration is when the whole membership of the House or the Senate acts on a bill, as opposed to when it is in one of the two chambers' committees. So floor consideration can look like a bunch of different things, but think of everybody in the chamber being together and considering bills or debating bills or voting on bills. Franking privileges are a benefit to members of Congress where they can mail letters and other materials for free. This allows members of Congress to communicate regularly with their constituents. Now, what are constituents? Constituents are the people that an elected official represents. And it doesn't mean that they are the people that voted for them. That is just everybody that an elected official represents. So we are all the constituents of the President of the United States, even if we did not vote for him or her. Now for the types of power Congress has. Express powers. Express powers are clearly spelled out in Article 1 of the Constitution. They are also called enumerated powers. Implied powers are not stated specifically, but are based on the express powers. So implied powers are used to carry out express powers. Inherent powers are those that all nations have simply because they are a sovereign country within the world community. So those are the three main powers that Congress has. One of the express powers of Congress is to set copyrights and patents. A copyright is an exclusive right of a person or company to reproduce, publish, or sell a creative work. A patent, on the other hand, is a license issued to an inventor granting the exclusive right to use or sell the invention for a limited amount of time. A territory is a part of the United States, but is not included in any of the 50 states. Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Virgin Islands are examples of U.S. territories. They are governed by the United States government, but have a large degree of autonomy with their own systems of government. Congress has the power to set rules for naturalization. Naturalization is the process by which a citizen of one country becomes a citizen of another country. So all immigration laws are created by the Congress. The framers of the Constitution knew that certain issues would come up that were not covered in the Constitution. To handle these, they included the Necessary and Proper Clause, also known as the Elastic Clause. It is called the Elastic Clause because Congress can stretch its powers to handle certain things. In addition to making laws, Congress has congressional oversight, meaning it can review, monitor, or supervise federal agencies, programs, activities, and policy implementation. And really, Congress has oversight on anything that happens in the United States. Congress also has commerce power. This gives Congress the authority to regulate trade between the states and foreign countries. Trade within a state is handled by state governments. One of the big powers Congress has is the power to levy taxes. A tax is simply a charge collected by the government on persons or property to financially meet public needs. All tax bills must begin in the House, as we have learned, and taxes are created by Congress. The public debt is all of the money borrowed by the federal government and not yet repaid, plus the interest on that debt. The public debt is often called the national debt. It is important to remember, too, that the debt is not the deficit. Every year, the federal government runs on a budget, which is passed through Congress. In a given year, if the government brings in more money than it spends, it runs a surplus. If it spends more money than it brings in, which it typically has done recently, that means the government is running a deficit. So deficit and surplus are on a yearly basis. The debt is the total amount of money that the government owes over time. Impeachment powers. The House has the power to impeach or bring formal charges against a public official. Now, we oftentimes associate impeachment with just the president, but any government official can be impeached by Congress. You get impeached by the House, but must be expelled by the Senate by a 2/3 vote. So as an example, President Trump was impeached twice by the House of Reps, but was not expelled by the Senate. Impeachment is just a simple majority, whereas an expulsion is a 2/3 vote. Censure is when the Congress issues a formal disapproval of a federal official. Congress also has the power to subpoena or legally order a person or evidence to be submitted to Congress or a committee. I hope this information helps and helps you to better understand the role and powers of Congress.